I didn't actually write down anything because my computer was fucked yesterday. So what would you like to start off with?
Well, I meant to write notes, but I never did.
Yeah.
I completely forgot. But
Um.
yeah, I think I've seen the movie enough times to sort of
Yeah.
remember
I
most of the details.
I thought the same thing. What about we start with the casting? What do you think about the casting?
I definitely think Henry Cavill was a really good choice. Um, it's actually got quite an impressive cast for like an origin story that like it's DC, so DC sort of has a lot of pull, I guess. So it's like Marvel. Yeah, Marvel has a lot of pull with, especially Marvel now. That they're at the point where they can sort of just pick and choose whoever they want.
Yeah. I
Um,
I when I didn't hear about the Man of Steel till it was out in cinemas. I never even saw the trailer for some reason. I don't know, but
yeah, no, I was the same. I
I
went to go see it with my mum when it came out, and
I
like we didn't even know about it until like 2 days before we went to go see it.
I never knew who Henry Cavill was. Amy Adams was the only one I knew. I didn't even know she was in it until I saw it. The dude who played Zod, what's his name? Michael, I think his name was. I only known him from Kangaroo Jack when he was younger. I don't know if you've ever seen Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah, I remember that movie. Yeah, I
Um,
forgot he was in that. Oh,
uh,
Michael Shannon. Michael Shannon. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. The dude who played Perry White, I only knew him from The Matrix, and I never even still haven't seen The Matrix. I got halfway to it and thought it was shit. But
Yeah,
um,
I haven't. I've never seen The Matrix. I was talking about this with my partner about like all these popular movies that I've never seen.
yeah, I think I didn't see Star Wars till I was like 19. Most of them anyway. Um, what about the acting? What did you think about the acting?
I think the acting was pretty good. I think Henry Cavill was a little fresh. Like he did a great job, but I think it was. I think it's. I don't know if he's ever like before Man of Steel. He's really done a lot of green screen.
He
And,
did a he did some movie called The Immortals. He was like buff, but he wasn't buff like he
hmm.
was in The Man of Steel. But um, no, most of his other movies are crap. I think he didn't really become big till like Immortals, and he did this and kind of went worldwide a bit more. Don't know if he's done any TV shows or not, but haven't really looked.
Yeah, no, he's really good on The Witcher on Netflix.
I can't for some reason I can't get into that.
Yeah, the first season was really tricky for me because it was constantly jumping from different time periods and different people
Yeah,
and like the time period it would jump to, it was never specific, and so you're like, what the fuck? Like, didn't this just happen? Um,
I'm
like
just
he's really good on The Witcher, but I think in Man of Steel, like he did really really good, like
I'm just
really good.
I'm just looking at his movie list now that the movies he's done in the past. He's not in a lot, and before the Man of Steel, they were pretty crap. He did some knockoff Red Riding Hood movie in 2006, and he did some movie with oh, James Franco in some movie in 2006, and he kind of went on. He was in Hellraiser in 2005.
Never seen Hellraiser.
I haven't seen that either. He's supposedly in Shazam, but he's really not. It was his stunt double.
Okay.
But yeah, Immortals. If you haven't seen Immortals, I thought that was a good movie. He talks about there's a sex scene he had to do in it, and he goes, "It was really fucking embarrassing because he's never done a sex scene before."
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like when you like, I remember my mum used to be a big fan of True Blood.
Yeah,
And we were very young, me and my brother, and we would have to leave the house. And I never understood why. And then I got older, and I was like, oh, I remember Mum used to like the show, so I'll watch it. A lot of sex scenes.
I think I bought True Blood years ago. I got up to season 4 and couldn't get season 5 for some reason. Season 5 on Blu-ray was really rare to get. Don't know why, but it was, and there was a lot of sex scenes in that, which I didn't complain about. But the one thing I did like about the show was vampires had a Texas accent or something like that.
Yeah, it's set in the South, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. Um.
but it's weird. Like I remember, like if we're talking about vampires now, I remember the fucking Twilight. Um, I watched the first one with Mum because Mum was a big fan of it. She'd read all the books, and I had no idea what to expect. And um, I remember asking her before we watched it, "Is it scary?" And I was only a kid,
Yeah,
and she's like, "No, it's not scary." And then the scene where he's about to step into the light, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like I'd kind of known a little bit of vampires. Like, I'd
yeah,
watched Vampire Diaries and stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna get like the veiny eyes and the fangs, and it's gonna be
yeah.
cool." And he sparkled.
The
And
one,
so when I watched True Blood, I was like, "Oh, these guys are really cool, but they're
yeah, the
actually
one.
scary."
As a kid, Twilight's still a guilty pleasure, and I don't watch it unless no one's around. There's just something about it I still like. I don't know. The
I
last,
really like the first one. I think the first one's my favorite.
the others are crap. Oh, the last two were okay, but
Hmm.
New Moon, the clips were shit. But yeah. Anyway, back on
Yeah,
track.
yeah.
um, all right.
What do you think of the suit for the
You know
first one?
what? I wasn't sure about it to begin with. I really wasn't. I was very unsure about it to begin with because I was so used to Reeves' suit. Actually, no, I was more in love with Brandon Routh's suit for some
Mm.
reason because the S standed out more. I I like the leather cape on Brandon Reeves' version and his shoes because he had the S on the bottom of his shoes. Don't know if you ever noticed that or not, but yeah, I was very unsure about his suit. It was just didn't look like Superman to me at the time when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think it was like I'm a big fan of big emblems, like the big sprawling emblems that
Yeah,
cover the whole chest. And I think what would have made Brandon Routh's suit perfect, just absolutely perfect, is if the logo was bigger.
yeah.
Uh, in proportion to his body, it was quite small.
I don't know if you ever noticed, but when they were actually promoting Man of Steel, in his photos, the S was the S it was, but there was no yellow inside the S. It was just blue.
Mm.
And I think it was the first thing I saw. I went, nah, that's shit. But then when the movie came out, he had the yellow in it. And apparently, that first costume was actually his test costume, and they just edited his photo or something out of it. But I wasn't sure about him not having the red underwear on the outside of it either. To me, it just looked too alien-like.
Mm.
But then I thought, well, he's an alien, so
You know, I think with the suit, it was a little too dark. Like you associate.
yeah,
Like I'm not really a Superman fan. I love the Superman movies, but I've always been more of like on the side of Batman and all
yeah,
that sort of stuff. But I do love Superman, and I think the one thing that makes Superman so iconic is all the bright colors, and he's meant to be this like symbol of hope.
yeah.
And so when the suit was really dark, you know, with origin movies, you can kind of let it go because they're not that character yet.
I think a lot of people might have complained about it because I noticed in Batman vs Superman and um, the Zack Snyder cut, his colours were a bit more bright and standard out. Batman vs Superman. The one thing I didn't like the Batman vs Superman one is he had the chest plate in it that didn't show a lot of his buffness. It did in the arms, but not his chest. You could really tell where the outlining was of um, his plates were. I don't know if that had anything to
Yeah.
do with Zack or the other wanker. I don't know, but yeah,
You know, I think what was really cool, like it was a very subtle detail in, I think they added it, I think it made its first appearance in Batman v Superman, uh, with the costume was the muscle suit under it was chrome. And
yeah.
so when the fabric was stretched over it, you could see to make him look like the Man of Steel. And I thought that was a really cool detail. But I think he was buff enough, and it was so weird because they didn't use a muscle suit to my knowledge in the first one.
No, he wanted to go authentic, and I did notice from the Man of Steel to Batman vs Superman, he stuck on a lot of muscle in between that.
That's what I mean. I'm like, I feel like they should have just because he did put on a lot more muscle. You know, Henry Cavill's a fucking beast,
Yeah.
um, and he's addicted to the gym and all that sort of stuff. So he got bigger, but they still put a muscle suit on him.
But then,
Uh,
it really doesn't bother me because I guess in the Man of Steel, he's just starting off as Superman, so he's only just Superman at the time. And Batman vs Superman is kind of when it's his big prime, so he obviously don't know if it works, if he works out that way or something. I don't know, but he would have been carrying aeroplanes and all that by that time. It's probably put on more muscle. I don't know, but yeah,
I think it was really cool, especially with like in Batman v Superman. It was just because the only thing that I could complain about was it was such a stark difference, and because he's such a big dude, that kind of has to carry. Like, I feel like he could have just done the suit again with no muscle suit, or at the very least just a little muscle suit. But when you're comparing him, like when you're standing next to in Batman v Superman, when he rips the doors off,
yeah,
Batman stands up. Seeing those two like look at each other, it's insane. Seeing like those two big guys like ready to razzle dazzle.
What did you think about the CGI in the Man of Steel?
I watched it. I think I told you I watched it again 2 days ago.
Yeah,
still holds up. There's a couple of.
It does. There's one scene I noticed the moment it came out was when the pod was coming, just before passing the moon. It looks, to me, I could really tell it was CGI and looked like it was out of a fucking video game. I'm going.
I think it's funny with CGI because technology keeps evolving, and so there's always going to be one or two scenes that just don't quite look right.
It was 2013. It was very expected back then, I guess. But
like even the flying scenes, like his first flight, I think that still holds up today. Like that looked really good.
The one thing I didn't know as you went on that his cape was fake throughout the entire movie, and I didn't know that at the time. To me, it just looked real. The part where he walks out was real. They just clipped it onto him, but as you do notice as years gone on, you can really tell the cape is fake. But it's an old movie. It's almost 10 years old next year, surprisingly.
Yeah, because I think what they started doing, I know they had a physical cape in Man of Steel for certain shots. It's kind of like props, like I'm a bit of a prop guy. They had a physical cape. It's like a hero prop. So when they're doing close up, where it doesn't need CGI and he's just kind of standing there, then they'll have the physical cape. They did the same with Batman v Superman and Justice League. Justice League, it was mostly CGI. But with Batman v Superman, it was the same with Batman. There was a physical cape because it was so heavy, and the same for Superman because it was so heavy on the actors. It's a lot to carry around all day.
Yeah.
I think 'cause Batman's cape was, I believe it was urethane.
Yeah.
I believe, I could be wrong, but that's a very heavy material, and the size of the cape that it is.
You can tell it looks. I don't know. With Ben Affleck's Batman, I'm still not convinced it's his muscle in the suit for some reason. I don't know why. He looks 10 times more buff in the suit than he does out of the suit. There was rumours for a while when Batman vs Superman came out that it was actually a stunt double and just CGI'd his mouth or something like that. It was kind of hard back then. When they did the end of Twilight, it was probably just as bad as that. But nowadays they can do it with pretty much anyone, really. Make everyone look 10 times younger.
Yeah, well, they did it with, just recently they did it with No Way Home, with Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, de-aged him.
I did that. I didn't notice.
I thought that was interesting because they did it with Sam Jackson in that Captain Marvel movie that everyone loves.
I kind of hated that. I went to the movies. And almost walked out. I'm going, "Oh, mate."
It's so bad.
I wish with the Marvel movies they actually started from the storyline, not. I wish they started by story, not everywhere all over the joint and make it go back 50 years later. That really annoyed me. I don't know why I did, but it did.
Yeah, but I think with the de-aging technology, it has come a long way, and I think they're getting a little more confident with it. I remember seeing Justice League in 2017. I was living in New Zealand at the time, and I walked out of the movie very confused.
I kind of walked out pissed off because I remember the movie was meant to be 2.5, 3 hours long. We walked out an hour and 30 minutes later. I was, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I think I was it was such a roller coaster of emotions because when the movie started, I believe it was the cold open with Batman and the criminal.
Yeah,
Um,
and the music.
and yeah, and the music, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like this is Arkham. Like I'm just getting Arkham vibes. Um, but then he started just having a conversation with him, like the criminal, and just like
Yeah,
having a chat. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, this isn't Batman. Why is he just stopping and having a chat with a criminal?
I think the moment the movie came out and started playing, I knew straight away something's not right with this movie. The song
Mm.
didn't suit. I'm going, this ain't Zach. I know it says directed by Zach, but it's not. It's not
I
his.
think that's what annoyed me the most because at the time, like I walked out of the movie and I was like,
Yeah,
I guess
and
that was all right. Like
I
it
knew
was,
I knew right down to the end when they were fighting Steppenwolf. It kind of there was a big gap in between the movie, and it just kind of jumped to him getting bashed and killed or getting sent back, wherever it was. I'm going, nah, something doesn't fit right there. It's just
yeah, no,
not.
I walked out of that movie with a bit of a dirty taste in my mouth. Um, because something, like you said, like something was off. Like something didn't seem right. It felt like there was missing pieces, and
Yeah,
I had no idea. I don't think anyone knew about the tragedy with Zack Snyder's family.
no, that's it. No, I didn't know until years later, until he actually
Yeah.
bring it out, which I can't blame him for walking
Mm.
halfway off.
I
But
think it was, we could get into the whole drama with Warner Brothers and using that as an excuse to kick him out. And
yeah,
but I think with that, it was such a weird because it didn't even seem like we had Man of Steel where Superman was getting introduced and you sort of learnt how he was and the way he acted, and then you got Batman v Superman, and you could see these characters develop a bit more. As the first appearance of Ben
yeah,
Affleck's Batman, and then you go to Justice League, and you're like, why is Batman Iron Man? Like,
yeah,
why is he joking? Because I didn't know Joss Whedon directed it. Like when I went to go see it, I thought because it's even like that's what annoys me to this day. I remember I rewatched Justice League, I think a couple months ago, the Joss Whedon version. Because I was like, oh yeah, we'll go back for a rewatch. We'll
yeah.
see what I think now, and it's just odd. Like even at the start, it just annoyed me because it said directed by Zack Snyder, and it was like they knew the movie was bad.
And then it got down to the end. It did say directed by Josh down towards the end, I think.
Yeah, it's like they
Something like
knew
that.
the movie was
Yeah,
bad or it was going to get a bad rap, and so they slapped Zack's name on the front of it to try and direct some of that
yeah.
at him. And it seemed really really odd, and I didn't quite understand.
What do you think about the Flash theory that they're going to wipe out Cavill and Affleck?
I mean,
Ben Affleck, I can understand because he doesn't want to play Batman anymore to
yeah,
replace.
I think he enjoyed it with Batman v Superman. I think he was really excited, and I do hope that we get more Affleck one day. I was in love with the casting when it first got announced. I thought this was going to be perfect.
Yeah,
Um,
I think like yeah, the rumors about it. It's kind of how the comics are meant to go, but it's too early in my opinion to do
mm,
that. And even if they did, like at least give them a send off in the movie if they're going to do it with the multiverse
yeah,
versions of them. But then
I
we
think
don't.
if they're going to get rid of them, it has to be justified. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like they can't just have him in a couple of scenes and then not get a send off, and then we just never talk about it again. I think
yeah,
that would be really disrespectful to not just Zack Snyder, who put a lot of work into starting this universe. It just seems like a bit of a slap in the face. So if they do it respectfully,
yeah.
I could probably get over it. But if it's just really abrupt and it doesn't serve the story, or it just seems really forced, then I think I'm probably going to be done with the DCEU.
Yeah, I yeah, it's one of those things. You're either going to come out in the theater fucking real disappointed. Or you're going to go, I can work with that.
Mm.
um,
Because like I've always been more of a DC fanboy than Marvel, but in the last couple of years,
I've I've been switching. I don't know why. For some reason, I've been slowly switching to Marvel,
yeah,
but
me too.
I'll always go back to DC. I think DC is just slow.
Mm.
They're just slow, and that's why we're slowly going Marvel.
I think the biggest problem with DC, like, cause yeah, I've been the same. Like, I've been slipping over to Marvel recently. the last couple of years. Not only just for the amount of content that we get from Marvel, but they know what they're doing. Like they've been doing it a long time, and I think DC is just trying to rush and they're trying to copy Marvel. And
Yeah,
I think what the appeal was to Zack Snyder, like his vision was, it was a bit more darker, it was a bit more grounded. It wasn't, oh, come bring your 5-year-old kids to come
yeah.
see Captain America's ass or, whatever. So it was meant to be more serious and, for I think he actually cared about the characters. And I know people had problems with, Batman killing or Man of Steel, like when he killed Zod.
Yeah. I
But I was like,
there
in
was
the moment, what else would he have done?
yeah. I
Like in
remember.
that
I
moment.
remember at school I was watching The Man of Steel because I downloaded a copy, and I got right down to the end, and my teacher come up behind me, and go, "What are you doing? You're meant to be doing your schoolwork." And he goes, "The prick should have just snapped his neck at the start of the movie." I said, "Well, yeah, he could have, but he didn't want to." But yeah, it was funny.
Yes, I
Um,
think it gets a bad rap, and I just think DC just needs to slow down
I,
and just like Justice League was rushed. Like Justice League shouldn't have happened when it did.
I,
We needed so many solo movies before then
I've,
and build up that, but
I've never understood why DC has gotten so much trash for some reason. It never used to. It was better than Marvel at one stage. And
mm,
I'll be honest, Reeves movies, like they're great. Don't get me wrong, but they'll never lead up to Zack's version of Man of Steel. Like
mm,
the Richard Donner cut, that was great. That was a totally different movie from the number two. But it's how it is now is how DC is in the comics. It's not all glory, no one dies, blah blah blah. But in reality, when there is a superhero, people are going to die, and
mm.
you got to be more scared than ever. But yeah, anyway, back on topic. What scene standed out to you in The Man of Steel?
Ooh. I think the conversation with his father.
His father,
When he
in the ship.
breaks the wall, yeah, when he breaks
Yeah,
the wall and he sort of floats out, and that whole conversation with his dad, um, like his dad admitting, "Hey, look, we did send you here basically to
yeah.
repopulate or like regrow Krypton," um, but that wasn't like it wasn't meant to like I'll kill everyone and start new. Like it wasn't Zod's version of what
Yeah.
he was trying to convince them. It was, we knew that if you grew up with these people, you would learn to love them. You could be a symbol of hope. You could, lead them into the sun. I think that exact quote of like,
What
and one day they'll join you in the sun. I think that was just,
What did you think of Russell Crowe playing that part? Because I know a lot of people going, "Oh, Russell Crowe." Mm.
I never understood why Russell Crowe got a lot of hate.
No.
Um, I think he's a phenomenal actor, and
Uh,
he's Australian, so
Yeah, I do find it funny. Like when he plays a role like that, he'll lose all his weight again. And go, fuck it, I'm going to put my weight back on because I like my food.
mm,
That's one thing I like about him. He's willing to lose the weight and everything like that. And I've always thought he's even got these sort of got the Australian accent in the movie as well, which
mm,
I don't understand why he got so hate out of it. I thought it was good. I can't remember the original guy's name who did originally play him, but what can you do? It's 50 odd years later, anyway.
there is one thing that I wanted to talk about, and it gets a lot. It's become such a meme with Man of Steel, and like I said, when I watched it the other day with my partner, I pointed it out to her because I don't think she's ever seen it. Um, I think she no, sorry, I think she has. When Zod and his whole
Crew.
group get sent off,
Ah, the dicks. You're talking
yeah, the
about the dicks.
dildos, the dildos.
I never knew that till the meme comes out. I kind of sat there going, "You're not wrong. It looks like a fucking massive cock." The
And I was
dildo
like,
type
I'm,
thing.
I'm surprised. It blows my mind. I think what's funnier to me is not that it looks like a dildo. It just no one pointed that out. Like no one looked at that and went, they kind of look like dicks.
I I wonder if someone's actually sculpted one.
Maybe I should 3D print one
You
just
know,
for a meme.
that'll be pretty funny.
So I think that was like the one
Just
thing that I just wanted to get your opinion on was
just
this.
sell it, see how much it goes for.
I've got a bloody big tub of Transformers that I'm trying to get rid of because I want to get a new 3D printer.
Stick them on Oh, did you try the eBay thing, or you don't have an eBay account?
I don't have an eBay account. I was going to try and chuck it up on, because I want to try and sell them all together. Like they're all
Yeah.
from the original Transformer movies, like the Michael Bay ones.
Stick. Problem is, if you're a new eBay, they hold your money for 2 weeks to make sure you're not fake. But yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, we
Yeah,
talk
no,
about.
yeah, I was going to chuck it on a Facebook group, but
Oh,
anyway,
I'm getting nothing but scammers on
yeah.
Facebook. Oh, mate. Not to be rude, but they're all Indian and Asian.
Mm.
And they're in the area, or, but I'm
You
going to.
know, I've been getting that. That's why I'm trying to sell it in a group because
Mm,
Facebook Marketplace, you'll get a message, hey, is this still available or whatever, and you're like, yeah,
yeah,
it is, blah blah blah, and then they just die. Like they don't actually message you, and I don't understand.
yeah. They're weird. Anyway, um, when Henry Cavill was in the middle of the Earth trying to destroy what they call them, the Earth things, machines. Um, anyway, the Earth machines that transform Earth to Krypton.
Mm.
When he was in the middle of the Earth, did you ever notice that they did do a face thing with Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill in it?
Yes, yes, I did know that one actually.
The moment I watched him going, get fucked. I'm like, that was brilliant to
Mm.
bring him back. But I
I
did
see
also,
that it's subtle things like that that like show the amount of care,
yeah,
like the history of these movies and the character. Um, but it's just little things like that, and it's so subtle, and like it's really only for people who watch these movies and like,
they
frame by frame.
I I can't remember if it was Man of Steel. I was going through the clip yesterday. I can't remember if it was Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman, but they did put a Brandon Routh reference in there. Was when Brandon was in the sky in the sun. Can't remember if it was a Man of Steel or something like that. They did something similar to that with Henry Cavill. I don't know if it was because the crossover with Brandon Routh and the TV show was coming out at the time. I don't know, or it might have been. It could have even been in the Zack Snyder cut when he just took off in his black suit. I can't remember. It might have been that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Is that when he goes up into space and he kind of just
Laser, yeah.
it just kind of lays there and just absorbs the sun?
It kind of go. Oh, it doesn't go around his head like Brandon Routh. It kind of goes. Kind of goes around his back, sort of. Yeah, it could have been Zack Snyder. I can't
You know,
remember.
I think it was Man of Steel.
Yeah, I can't
I
remember.
think he flies up and he just kind of like he just kind of zen
Yeah,
like in the sun.
just zoning. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, I think like those little details, like even there's a little Batman Easter egg in Man of Steel
was it?
when he's fighting Zod.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
very,
yeah, yeah.
very subtle. It's the poster in one of the office buildings that they find in.
No matter how much I look for that, I can't fucking see it each time I watch it.
I've never found it in person.
No.
I watch a lot of like new rock stars. Like they're really good at video breakdowns and they break down a lot of movies and they seem like really awesome people. Um, but yeah, they did a breakdown of Man of Steel and they show you it's just like a very small little poster in someone's office building. And
Yeah,
it's weird though. It's got the Michael Keaton Batman logo.
Yeah, which it could have been a run up to the Flash.
Mm.
What's it doing now? Yeah. Um, what do you think about Michael Keaton come back as Batman? Do you reckon he will still lead up to everyone's expectations?
I think that is the biggest problem with movies today. Everyone's a fucking critic.
Yeah.
I'm like when people ask my opinions on movies, I feel like I'm a little invalid because like the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, I actually like that movie.
I did too.
Like it's
yeah.
not a good movie,
It was alright.
but like I enjoy it every time I watch it. I think it's funny and it's good. Like I actually get enjoyment out of it. Not a great movie, still enjoy it.
I think I watch it. Probably watch it once every 3 years or something. I forget how it goes. I go, oh fuck it, I'll put it back on. And I'm going, yeah, it still leads up to how I remember it as a kid. But yeah,
That's the biggest problem is that's what I was nervous about with like No Way Home, for example. And like we can talk about No Way Home in another podcast if you wanted to,
Yeah.
but I was just nervous with movies like that they get this hype behind it, right? And so everyone sort of they talk about it for months and months and months, and they get their expectations up, and they go and see it. And it's never going to live up to that. And that's what I'm nervous about with Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. I feel like he's not going to be the Batman that we remember.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I don't expect him to be. I expect him to be the older, more get fucked type version
yeah,
of him.
I think he's going to be more. I can't. I think CW did a version of it, and I can't remember the storyline, or the name of the storyline. But when he's got the mechanical suit and he's old
Yeah.
and he's grumpy, and they brought, um, oh, I'm going to have a mental blank on the dude's name now. The guy who voiced Batman in the animated series,
Yeah.
Conroy, I think his name is. And they brought him back, and he's old and he's grumpy. I think that's the version that we're going to get. And even with the behind the scenes photo of the emblem with the blood on it, people were already getting mad about that. Like,
I
oh, well,
I
it's just
I
still.
I was looking at that yesterday. I noticed it was different from the original, which it's like 30, 40 odd years later. It's not, or they could have gone back to the moment he was young. We still don't know that part yet. He could be old. He could be young still. We don't know. But
Because we
um,
haven't actually, like, and I saw someone talk about that theory that it was going to be um, set after, like, basically not right after, like, not 2 seconds after Batman Returns, um, but like after Batman Returns. And
yeah,
because we haven't actually seen him in the movie, you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, we haven't physically seen him, so they could be de-aging him. We don't know.
Well,
Um,
by what I've seen, how he's mentioned all that is, he hasn't been. But it could kind of lead off, kind of like how the Dark Knight Rises went off.
oh, we sort of retired.
Yeah, it could have gone something like that, maybe.
Mm,
Because I know that happens a lot in the comics. It's
yeah,
one
so
of the
I think the one thing that I'm nervous about is just people are going to get their hopes up, and it's not going to live up to.
well, I've always I've seen critics and people who probably never really grew up with movies in their childhood. Even they did. But I I think they're sooks.
Mm.
If they want a better movie, make it your fucking self.
And
Uh,
that's the problem. Yeah, people think because like let's talk about Man of Steel, for example. So if I had this whole like, oh, this is what I want to see, or this is what I would do, and then they go and see it, and that director didn't
yeah,
exactly copy what they wanted, it's a shit movie.
yeah,
That's their mindset, and it really bothers me that people can't just go to a movie and just enjoy it, like
yeah,
just accept that this is what it is. And I think that's why, like at the time, at the time when Justice League came out in 2017, I hated it, but I was like, okay, well, this is what we're going to get. This is
yeah.
what we got.
Might be better next time. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, they'll probably keep making them, so there's always room for improvement. It's sort of that hopeful. Hopefully, people will be like, didn't really like this,
yeah. I
and they'll go, okay, we'll do better next time.
With the Man of Steel, I didn't know it got so hate than it did than a couple of years ago. I thought the movie was, doing fine, whatever. But it's half and half. Some people like the Man of Steel, some people hate it, and I can't understand why they hate it. It's
Yeah, no, and it's 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 like when celebrities pass away, like Michael Jackson, or people who are very controversial, that have a lot of rumors about them, all that. I'm not going to get into it, but it's the same with these movies, like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. Um, Everyone hated them for the
yeah,
most part. Like there was people that loved them, like say, me and you, that enjoyed them. But everyone, like the majority didn't.
yeah,
And they're like, oh, it's too dark and blah blah blah, and they're saying all these things and being very vocal. And so what they don't understand was Justice League was their fault. That's because the
yeah,
studio would have seen all that. Oh, it's too dark. There's not enough. Why is there no one joking? It's too serious. And so when Justice League came out, they were like, oh, what's this? And I was like, this is
yeah.
what you asked for. Like, this is what you wanted.
I
Like,
yeah,
you were saying it's
I
too dark,
did.
and then yeah.
The Zack Snyder cut. A lot of people, and I was reading yesterday, a lot of people are complaining about the ratio of
Mm,
the video. I'm going fucking hell. Like I was a bit, wasn't sure about it at the beginning, but I think it was the first 10 minutes. I went, oh, I can get used to this. But you were seeing more anyway.
mm,
When I bought the Batman vs Superman, the IMAX version, I put it on. There's most of the movie is just normal ratio, and the I think some of the fight scene, the end scene, and the start scene was pretty much the IMAX. That's all it is. So you
Mm.
probably get 10 minutes extra, but yeah, I still haven't watched it yet. I'll probably watch it later. But yeah, I don't know. People
Yeah,
are just
yeah. I
oh,
think it's
it's like the Amber Heard thing. I'm one of those people that can't stand characters being recasted in a superhero film.
mm,
Yeah, Amber Heard did what she did, and I'll never like that about her. But even though she's being in the new Aquaman movie, people are not going to watch it, not going to support it. But then they keep forgetting that they're not supporting the entire movie for all the other actors because the actors make a profit off those movies. So that's just going to
yeah,
flop for them along with it.
yeah. Because originally, I was like, oh, it sort of. I think the only thing that I would say about that is it seems odd that Johnny would get, because even my partner, we were talking about it a few weeks ago. I went on a bit of a bit of a tangent, like I
Yeah,
tend to do, and she said, "Oh well, neither of them would have been as innocent.
yeah,
Like neither of them are innocent."
yeah.
Um, and
That
I said, "Well, if you hold that up and you go, okay, well, if Johnny got fired from everything, it
yeah,
seems a little odd that she gets to keep that." But I don't like recasting either,
yeah.
unless the unless the person did something terrible, like I don't
Yeah.
know, murdered 40 people or something.
Like
But
if they if there was if they did replace her, she would have to be pretty fucking hot for me to go. Oh, I don't care. It's just one of those things. You go, I can deal with that through the movie. But
yeah, I know people don't like Brie Larson. She's a good example to compare next to Amber Heard. Not for their actions, but for the way they act and stuff like that in interviews or whatever. Like I think with Brie Larson, she's. I talk about this a lot with like sarcasm, for example. It's a very hard humor to get.
yeah,
Um, and it's a lot of the times people try and use sarcasm and it just comes off like they're being a dick. Um, and I think that's the problem with Brie Larson. I think she's trying to be sarcastic, but it just doesn't translate that way. And
yeah,
with Amber Heard, um, she doesn't seem like the most polite person in interviews. But again, like what you said, is if I don't like recasting unless it's absolutely, absolutely necessary.
yeah. Then do
Um,
it. Yeah,
yeah, then do it. But I mean, I'll still watch it because I love Jason
yeah.
Momoa. I think he's a really wholesome
Yeah.
person. But
It's when the first Iron Man second one came out. I got really fused how they changed the actors. I'm going, who's this dude? And then they said his name. I'm going, huh. But then I think there was a reason why they fired the first War Machine. I couldn't remember why, but it was for a good reason. I think.
mm,
I think he was just an ass or something. I can't remember.
yeah, no, I think with that one he was really hard to work with. Um, I think he was showing up late. Like I'm not going to say too much about it because like if we post this on YouTube, people like correcting people, but
Yeah, I
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he was just like a very very difficult person to work
that
with.
surprisingly that recasting really didn't bother me because I was a kid, so
Yeah,
really I'm going, oh yeah, okay, but
and like for the most part, like we got like I grew up with pretty much all the MCU movies. I think the first MCU movie I saw in the movie theater was Iron Man 2, I think.
mine was oh, good question. I think mine was Captain America 2, I think, because
Oh, really?
my
Because I remember
uncle,
seeing the first Avengers movie,
yeah,
but I know I saw ones before that, so I'm guessing the first one was Iron Man 2, because I remember I didn't see Iron Man in the movie theater. I only saw that. I think Mum came home with it on DVD one day, and she was
yeah,
like, "I think you liked
I
it."
because as a kid I didn't really have I didn't I had access to the internet, but I didn't always have access to it. Um, I didn't know movies came out till my uncle used to buy them. Go, here you go, watch them, borrow them.
It's
So
funny that you say that because, sorry, I'll quickly, when you're in the movies, like when you get trailers and stuff like that, right?
mm,
And at the end it says only in theaters.
yeah,
Um, as a kid, I didn't know movies weren't everywhere. I only
yeah,
thought they were in the movies
yeah.
because of that only in the cinemas thing. So it's funny you should say that.
Yeah, the very first Marvel movie I ever watched was Captain America, and I burnt myself a copy when I borrowed it, and then I said, oh yeah, I watched. I don't know if I ever watched. I think I watched the first Iron Man after the Avengers. I think the very first Thor movie I got hooked on for some reason. It was just something about the first Thor movie. I don't know if it was just because it was Asgard and it was glowing or something. I don't know. I was just really intrigued about the first Thor movie, and always probably will. I still prefer the first one than the others. But yeah. Anyway, where were we?
Yeah, we can't. This podcast is going to be a bit of everything and everything.
Yeah.
I think with Man of Steel, what was I think with movies, I think the important thing is to allow yourself criticism, like something you didn't like in a movie. So what's one thing in Man of Steel that you didn't like?
One thing I didn't like. I'm actually not too sure because I didn't hate it. I think every scene kind of did lead up to my expectation. I think.
No. A lot of the
I
time
think
I have. Sorry.
when I did first watch it, to me, I know a lot of it was good that now I see it was good that they did it. But as a kid, the Krypton scene went forever.
Yeah.
I didn't. As a kid, I said, I don't care. I know the story. I just want to see him in the suit. That's all I cared about at the time. But nowadays, it takes longer than 15 minutes nowadays. But as a kid, I hated that scene for some reason. No
Yeah,
idea
I
why.
think it's like every time we get a Batman movie, like I swear to God, with this new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, I'm unbelievably excited for this movie. Um,
Surprisingly,
I, I,
I'm actually not that hyped for it. I don't know why. I'm going, oh yeah, it comes out in March. I'll go see it. If it's shit, it's shit. If it's good, it's good,
yeah,
isn't it? I don't
I
know.
think it just looks good. Like just the trailers look good. And again,
Yeah.
like I'm a massive Batman fan, so obviously I'm going to go see it. But I think if we get a bloody scene of the Waynes dying again, I swear to God, like,
I think by what I've heard, most of the movie is just him in the Batman suit. Which
mm,
2.5 hours of him in the Batman suit, I could go. Yeah, I can get around that. I'm sick of seeing a Bruce Wayne's origin story. 'Cause
mm. That's why
everyone,
I'm so happy that
everyone
the
knows it.
MCU never did Uncle Ben. We've seen it. We
Yeah,
know,
and
like it's like we know how it goes. But I think with Man of Steel, they kind of had to because it's not really been shown all that much. Like you look at Brandon Routh's movie, it was never really mentioned, or like sorry, never really shown. Um, they mentioned it, like they said, oh, we knew that Krypton wasn't
yeah,
around. Um, so I get why they did, and I guess Zach really wanted to show how it happened.
yeah.
And it did serve the story. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, he did it I think he did it like the first half an hour of the movie. He did bits and pieces, which in a way he did it the way that everyone should have done it.
Mm.
In bits and pieces that was emotional, not just bang, this happens. Uh, yeah, I've always thought with the new Man of Steel, or new Superman, that is what the emotion is. What they should have showed with the other ones. But
Mm.
they kind of did with Superman Returns. Superman Returns at the start when he had to go back to his own planet, and he had to read all that script. I didn't know what the hell all that meant, and I didn't even know it
Mm.
was a sequel to the old ones. I just thought, oh yeah, it's a remake, this and that, but and skip.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very missable detail with that
Yeah,
movie. That's actually meant to be a continuation
yeah.
of the originals.
There was I don't know if you've ever seen the deleted scenes from that movie, but they do show there's a lot of stuff about Krypton they've cut out about that. Um, there was scenes him seeing Krypton gone. There was scenes of him coming back in the pod in his silver costume. That's in deleted scenes. I wish they kept that in because to me as a kid that would have made a lot more fucking sense. Because
Mm.
I was playing the DS game and they had that scene in the DS game. I'm going, why isn't this in the movie? It makes more sense. That game kind of made more sense to me than the movie did at the start.
Mm.
In the end, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think my sort of nitpicky, because when there's something that I don't like about a movie, it's usually just something that doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
for the most part, I can go, okay, well, I can see what they were trying to do, and I appreciate what they were trying to do. Um, but I think the one nitpicky thing that I didn't like, um, was the suit. And I know that
Yeah,
sounds silly because I actually really enjoy the suit. I
yeah,
think the reason that I'm very either go all in or don't do it at all with colors. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But again, it's like those like what we're talking about with Justice League. Oh, maybe they'll do better next time. You know what I mean? And so
yeah,
when Batman v Superman came out, I was sort of like in Man of Steel, either make it blue and red or make it the black suit.
yeah.
Pick one.
I
Um,
In Batman vs Superman, do you know, it was around my birthday, and I pretty much nagged my ex girlfriend to take me to that movie. The very first screening they ever had in Morwell, and we went there, and when Superman died at the end, I fucking bawled my eyes out.
mm,
Miss was sitting next to me, was crying my eyes out. There was a 40-year-old guy behind me crying too, and he was by himself.
mm.
Like, you poor bastard. But yeah, I did knew Superman was going to come back anyway. After that, I'm going. There's no way they're just going to kill off a good Superman like that. But
Mm.
Warner Brothers is going to do that anyway. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I think it would be the best power move for Henry to go to Marvel.
I can't see him fitting in Marvel. I don't know.
Do Captain Britain or something.
And well, I don't know a lot about the Marvel comics, and every movie that comes out, I'm going, who the fuck's that?
Mm.
I could have searched up and go, oh, okay, I kind of know who that is. It's
It's
like,
the same with Peacemaker.
oh,
I know that I've been watching that, and it's actually a really good show. Like I'm really enjoying it. It's goofy, not meant to be taken seriously.
I can't
There's
stand
like
goofy
serious
stuff.
undertones to it about the
Yeah,
whole like racist thing. But when the door opens, sorry everyone, spoiler alert for Peacemaker if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. But when his dad opens the door and he's asking for new helmets and gear,
yeah.
and then like all warps around, and it's like this, I don't know, it's like a doorway to an alien universe or whatever the hell it is. I don't know Peacemaker. Like, I don't know the character. So I
Yeah,
was like, what the hell is going
I,
on?
when to be honest, I didn't really like the new Suicide Squad. I don't know why. I kind of hated it.
Mm,
That I think the one thing I did like better the most was the song at the very start, the Johnny Cash song. Well, that fits well. It started
mm,
off good until they killed off the main characters in the trailer, from the
mm.
trailer. I went, oh, I was kind of
Yeah, I think
disappointed with it.
my favorite, like I really enjoyed the new Suicide Squad. Um, but I think my favorite character was Bloodsport. I wish we got a Bloodsport show
Yeah,
instead of Peacemaker, but I'm enjoying Peacemaker, so I'm not really complaining. I just think it would have been a very interesting story to find out why he shot Superman.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like to find out that like it doesn't have to be like 6 seasons. Just like six, like do what Disney Plus is doing. 6 episodes,
yeah.
just shy of an hour each episode or whatever, and chuck it on HBO Max, and then
I
yeah,
I find it sucks that we don't get HBO here. Like, yeah, I know we get Binge, but it's not like they get like everything in 4K and HD, and we just get like
yeah.
HD, uh, if not worse than that.
There was rumors that we were going to be getting HBO Max eventually, but I think because we have Binge, they don't really want to. They don't really see
Yeah,
the need to.
Foxtel and Binge are pretty much. I think they're run by the same company. I don't know, but
Yeah, no, Foxtel. Binge is Foxtel's version of a streaming service.
people who go, "Oh, I'm going to buy Foxtel," I said, "Don't bother. Just get Binge. You get the normal channels on there that you need." I didn't even know the channel was on there until you gave it to me. And I'm
Mm,
going, "Oh yeah, TV channels." And I hardly ever go on Binge as it is for some reason.
mm.
It's either Stan or I don't even go on Netflix. It's Stan or Disney Plus I usually go on.
Yeah,
Um,
no, my main one's Disney Plus. Um, Binge is really just because I know, like, if there's something on there that I know I want to watch, then I'll go to Binge. Like Peacemaker, or they have um, some Spider-Man movies that I don't
yeah,
own, like Spider-Man 3, that sort of stuff. But Binge is like, okay, I know it's on here. I don't have it. I
yeah,
know it's not on anything else. I'll go there. But my main ones, like to look for something to watch, is Disney Plus or usually Netflix.
yeah.
But Netflix, it's so rare that you get good stuff, um, or just new content in general. It kind of seems to cycle the same stuff. I did see that the Superman Returns movie is on Netflix now, so I'm definitely going to
That's
rewatch that today.
that's always come on and off of Netflix.
Mm,
For,
that's what I mean.
it
They
always
just
has.
cycle the stuff.
I I really hope they get a 4K version. And I know Bryan Singer's in a rough spot right now. I can't remember what it was about. I think it was sexual assault allegations or something like that. I can't remember. Or something to do with kids. And I don't want to go into it. But he did the X-Men movies. He's made the X-Men movies in 4K. And I really hope he does go, okay, I'm going to do Superman Returns. Because if he really wanted to, he could do something really big with that. Because they did do the Kingdom Come Superman. If you wanted to, but I don't think Warner Bros. would ever hire him again to do another Superman movie. But there was meant to be a Superman Returns 2, something to do with Brainiac, which they chose not to do for some reason. I think the first movie didn't get enough profit or something like that. For it to
Yeah,
work.
no, and I think that's another problem. Like, if we want to talk about profit, and I think people put too much.
Yeah.
I don't understand, and I want to know if you're on the same page as me. I don't understand why Rotten Tomatoes is on this pedestal of success. Like, if it didn't get a good score on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I
I
think people look at that and
Yeah.
go, "Oh, it didn't get a good rating on
not gonna watch
Rotten
it,
Tomatoes." Yeah, I'm not going to watch it.
I always give a movie a chance. I've never gone by the critics. I've never gone by the rating of it. I'll look at the rating afterwards and go, yeah, they're rotten. Nah, get fucked. I haven't actually looked at Superman Returns rating, but it's just
Quickly, I've got my dual screen action going on here, so I'll get that.
at Superman Returns. I've got the Kryptonite in my lounge room on the shelf. That was they used to stab him with, and I as a kid I think I got it for free, actually, surprisingly. I got it for nothing. As a kid, it was like it's in like a mold in the frame, and I thought to myself, nah, I want to touch it. I really do. I want to touch it. So I pulled the frame apart and killed the frame, and the frame's still intact and all that, but the back's not. But I just really wanted to touch it. I'm going, it's just like, it feels like rubber, pretty much. That's all it feels like.
Superman Returns got a 75% tomato reader, so it's certified fresh, whatever the hell that means.
So
The audience score is 61%.
So I've never understood all that. Is the tomatoes bad or good?
So the tomato reader is critics. So what it does is it compiles all the ratings that people give it who are actual critics, and they sort of compile it into a score out of 100.
Oh, okay.
And the audience score is the exact same, but for the audience. So the tomato reader's gotten 267 reviews. So 75% is basically a culmination of 267 reviews. The audience score is 250,000 plus.
Yeah, I don't know.
The critics' consensus for the movie is Bryan Singer's reverent and visually decadent adaptation gives the Man of Steel welcome emotional complexity. The result, a satisfying stick-to-your-ribs adaptation.
Yeah. What do you hope to see more of the Kingdom Come Superman that Brandon Routh played?
I think it would be an incredibly missed opportunity. I'm not the biggest fan of the Arrowverse, if that's what it's still been called.
Yeah.
But I did tune in for that episode.
I think
because I knew he was going to be in it. I saw the photos and I was like, need to see that.
Yeah, because to me, it's been verified already, I'm pretty sure, but it's just a sequel to the Superman Returns, to what he's done later on, which him killing Lois and whatever it was, that's, I think, how it was in Injustice, I think. He killed his family and stuff. But they need to show more. There was a rumor going around that they were going to do a Kingdom Come mini-series of that to the Arrowverse, and I don't know. I think Warner Brothers said, yeah, it's a good idea, but I'm not sure if we're going to do it or not. I don't know. But
yeah, I think we ended up getting Superman and Lois instead.
You know what? I got halfway through that. The first few episodes are great, and for some reason my mind just went, no, I can't, don't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah, no, I find it hard with the CW, like what you said, you like to give movies and stuff a chance. That's why with casting, people will see, Robert Pattinson was cast as the Batman. It's going to be terrible. The movie's
Yeah,
awful. I at least wait for a official released picture of them in a suit or whatever.
yeah,
I don't trust, like, I don't go off behind the scenes. Like, everyone's talking about the Batgirl suit from behind the scenes and
yeah.
all that sort of stuff. I'm like, just like wait till you see it in the movie because this is an origin story.
To
The
me,
suit's not going to
the
be great,
the new
but
Batgirl suit, it kind of took me back to the very Adam West kind of style. So
yeah,
I'm going, you know what? It's the way DC's going. It's just a multiverse thing so far. So we could be getting anything and anyone in any of the movies.
mm,
We could be getting three different types of Jokers. We could be Robert Pattinson and what's the new Joker movie? They could be both aligned together. We don't know. It would
as
make a
much
lot of
as they
sense.
say, oh, we won't bring Joaquin Phoenix in. Like it's not connected. We don't do that.
Yeah,
Um, I I was on video chat with one of my friends, Ryan, and we were talking about the Batman, and we were talking about Joker, and how like a little fan theories
yeah.
on how we would like them to bring in the Joker. Apparently, I believe his name's Barry Kogan or Keegan. He was in the Eternals. He played Druig.
Oh,
Uh,
I got halfway through
it,
it. I didn't like that either.
yeah, Druig was my favorite part of the movie. Um, Apparently, it's rumored that he's going to be the Joker, but only for like one very small cameo.
Yeah, I'm sick of the Joker thing and just doing fucking cameos. So like, yeah, surprisingly, I did like Jared Leto's Joker. I actually liked it. I think it was a Psychoness he had, but then
Mm.
Phoenix, he topped it off even better. Um,
Yeah, no, I think it's a very unpopular opinion these days.
yeah,
I was always a fan of Jared Leto's Joker because it was something different.
and
I think it's
it was very comic. What's that? I can't remember the comic, but it was very comic accurate. And I don't know why people were
I think it
complaining
was
about it.
New 52,
Yeah, something like that.
I believe.
And the colors are great. They did his hair fucking perfect.
Mm.
With the color, I'm going. I've always wanted that hair color for a Joker. When they come
Mm.
out, I'm going, oh, fucking grouse. But I do hope they do the Ayer cut because, yeah, they they need more. I know there is a Blu-ray extended cut. There's only 2 minutes with Harley and the Joker, which was good. But yeah, I do hope that Jared does more. I didn't like him in Zack Snyder. I was a bit when I saw him there. I'm going, yeah, it makes sense. It is a dark scene, but
Yeah.
him and his long hair. The long hair. I just thought Jared. That's all I saw out of it. It was just
Mm.
Jared. He got lazy, but yeah,
I think with like the Joker and stuff, I'd rather just like I'm so happy we're getting a Riddler. Um,
yeah. It's a weird
just
looking Riddler, isn't it? He's not green. His all face is covered. It's
yeah,
different.
it's taking inspiration from the Zodiac Killer, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Um, but there's so many others that I would prefer to see. Um, I'd like them to give another crack at Mr. Freeze.
Oh, that was funny. Jim Carrey's Riddler. I kind of dig that. And
Yeah, no, I laugh at like
yeah,
some of those older Batman movies, like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin.
yeah, yeah,
They're absolute guilty pleasures of mine. I love
yeah.
those
I
so much.
Batman and Robin. It's a like yeah. I'll still watch it today. And Arnold Schwarzenegger as a freeze. It's funny.
Mm.
The way he's
So many ice puns, and like
yeah.
I'm
Oh
such a fan of puns. I just think they're hilarious, and they're so stupid, and it's so campy and just out there. And I think it's just one of those movies that you shut the brain off and you just sit back and enjoy the movie. Like it's not meant to
yeah.
be
They did have.
taken seriously.
I don't know if you've ever Googled or found out there was meant to be a number five to those old Batman movies.
I think I do remember people
Oh,
talking about
I
that.
can't remember what it was called, and the whole plot and all that's online somewhere, and it would have been not bad.
Hmm.
I think I can't remember if all the villains were meant to come back into it. I don't. Michael Keaton wasn't going to be in it. I can't remember. It might have been George Clooney. I don't know, but I still find it funny that George Clooney gives his own movie shit, just like Ryan Reynolds. But to me, that last Batman movie, it's just like a parody movie, like Scary Movie to me.
Mm.
That's just something you funny and watch all the time.
It's the same with Green Lantern. I think it's one of those movies where you just shut your fucking brain off and just enjoy
Yeah,
the movie. Like, don't think too much about it. Just enjoy it. Um, but yeah, there's just so many other villains that I think I would rather see.
yeah,
Um, Obviously, if you want to do the Joker, at least do him last.
yeah.
I think clearly this new Batman thing is going to be
The
a trilogy.
the
Do
one
him in
thing,
the third movie. Like, build him up for the first two, and then do him in the third.
yeah, we've seen enough of Joker. We've seen enough of Batman. We need Batman and something else. Superman. We've only seen so far with Superman, with these supervillains. They need to do is it Trickster? I think
Yeah, that would be
Trickster.
cool.
I think
Or even Brainiac.
Brain. Oh yeah, Brainiacs. Oh yeah, th- yeah. They need to, but Brainiac's popped up a lot in the games for Superman and stuff like
Hmm.
that. He's slowly becoming too much of like the Joker, but yeah, the trickster and all that type of stuff. But the one thing I wish they do, and I think they're going to do is Zatanna. Um, I
I
know.
think wasn't that movie rumored to be in
Yeah,
development
I think
for
they've
the
already.
future?
I think they've already got it ready to go. I think they've already casted it, but haven't really told anyone. But
Mm.
I didn't know Zatanna existed till um, there was a video game came out. It was called Justice League Heroes, I think. Justice League Heroes. It was Batman and Superman and the Justice League. They were fighting off robots or some shit. It was a bird eye view game. I had it on DS, loved it.
Hmm.
Stuff like that. But that's where I knew Satana come from. Manhunter didn't even know anything about him properly until I watched Supergirl.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Anyway, we're going off topic again about Man of Steel. We've probably got
We'll get this podcast thing down pat at some point.
we've probably got what so far it's gone for an hour and 1 minute, and probably most of it's just like DC combined. But um, for some reason I can't remember how Man of Steel ends. Um,
So
Oh,
ends with,
the one cringy thing I did find about the ending was when Zod was using his heat vision, and to me, it looked like it was pretty much touching those people's arms.
I
uh,
think with how close they were, like if you
I'm
go
going.
back and rewatch it to the point where the blast is as close as it gets
Yeah.
to them. I'm sorry, but you'd at least be really, really burnt.
Oh
Like,
yeah. I saw that. I think I was years down the track. I'm going. That looks pretty fucking hot. Like, and the way he snaps his neck, I had to look at it twice to see if he snapped his neck the right way.
yeah, no,
I
that was
I think he
that was
does.
I think I saw that on TikTok actually very recently. Someone was playing the scene, and the way cause if you go back and you watch it, and the way he snaps
Yeah.
his neck,
You would think,
the laser doesn't turn off immediately. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so he was trying to
Just-
figure out
yeah,
which way he twists his neck.
yeah. I
Try to
don't.
see that family again.
I'm pretty sure you do. They run off. I think, just when he screams or something like that. Just before he screams, I think he
Oh,
runs
that
off.
scream.
I think. That scream was great. I thought that was brilliant. That was the emotion I wanted to see out of Superman.
Because
Because
that's what I never understood. Like, if we're going to talk about the Scream now, yeah, people go, "Oh, well, Superman doesn't kill people." Does it look like he enjoyed it?
nah,
Like
like
that, like the last decision he could make. That was like that was Plan Z.
yeah. I guess I put myself like, yeah, I've been in some touch situations in my times, and you just feel like fucking screaming sometimes. And to me, that was that. Like, yeah,
Like, he's got a good scream, and I think
yeah.
because he was so calm throughout the whole movie, he barely even raised his voice.
Uh, I,
Um,
I even liked about it. He even put his neck muscles in the work for that one as well.
like, it was such a raw moment where he
Yeah.
just screams, and I think it was the there was a deleted scene, and getting off topic again, and there's a deleted scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Mm. Oh yeah, the
where
dirt
Gwen
scene.
dies, he screams. There's something about a scream, like just a a guttural scream.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
breaks that
I like a
it,
good scream like that in movies. That's like another thing that Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix was another
yeah,
one.
that lead scene where he screams.
I've heard it. I heard the scream because they showed the edit cut. I'm going, what are people whinging about? Like, they say Emma Stone was crying, but I heard about it. I'm going, I could sit there and watch the act myself and go, yep, good job, mate. Like, whatever. But it wasn't a scream to cry over.
Hmm.
To me, I kind of giggled, going, gee, if Emma Watson cried over that, fucking hell. But
Hmm.
she must be real emotional. But yeah. Um, and another thing with that last scene with the heat vision's hitting the wall. But at the start of Batman vs Superman, his heat vision's going through the fucking wall. Um, I would have thought with that heat vision, what's happening behind that wall, and what's it hitting?
Yeah, it's kind of like in movies, when they shoot just randomly, like out of emotion, they just
Yeah,
start shooting a gun. I'm like, chances are that's probably gonna hit someone, but okay.
I don't know if you've ever noticed, but every movie that has a handgun, they will go bang, 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 bang all the time. But they forget that those pistols only hold. Oh, gee, I wouldn't know, so don't judge me on this one. About 6 to 7 bullets each part in them. I'm going. You
I think
can't.
depending on the gun, and that was the thing
Yeah,
in Joker as well. Um, when he kills the people at the train station,
I think
like I,
there's.
I, I know that weapon
Yeah,
sort of
I think there's six
roughly.
compartments. I think there's 6 compartments in it. I think five.
I think that particular gun only holds at the most 6 bullets,
Yeah.
and I believe he fires 8 or 9 times.
Oh no, I am going to rewatch it in the next few days because it's sitting on my shelf. I have seen it 1,000 times, but I'm going. You know what? I'm at that age where I'm slowly starting to forget how movies go now. For some
Mm.
reason, I'm going. No, I can go back and watch that. I think.
There's a lot of things that I want to go back and rewatch.
Yeah,
That's particularly like that's one of the particular reasons I picked Man of Steel to do this podcast on, because it's been so long since I've seen it. Surprisingly, like I've rewatched it 1,000 times, so I know the movie well enough to sort of talk about it offhand.
yeah,
Um, but it's been so long since I've seen it, and I think the next episode we should do um, maybe Batman v Superman, or
yeah.
even just change it up and do something
Yeah,
else. But
I did download Batman vs Superman and Zack Snyder cut. Didn't. Oh, I could download the original Justice League and compare them both, but um, I'll be honest. I've seen Man of Steel that many times that I'll put it on and go, no, I'm turning it off. I
yeah, there's
got.
a few movies that are like that with me, bro. Like, you sort of hype yourself up and you go, oh, I
Yeah,
haven't seen this movie in ages. I'd love to rewatch it, and then
yeah,
you rewatch it, and you're like,
yeah.
I've seen this movie enough.
It's like the very first Jumanji with Robin Williams. Loved that movie as a kid. I watched it pretty much every day, and then nowadays it's still a guilty pleasure. I recently bought it on 4K sometime last year. Put it on and I went, nah. I
I think that movie for me, the main one that comes to mind is, uh, crap, what movie is it? The Dark Knight trilogy.
yeah,
Um, like the Dark Knight in particular. I recently rewatched Batman Begins. Um, but the Dark Knight in particular, I've seen that movie, I'll say 800 times, and I know I'm probably low. But you start watching it, and then about 10, 15 minutes into it, you're like, oh, I've seen this movie that many times.
yeah. When did I first? Well, I first watched Batman Begins when it was on Channel 9, uh, on Win. I think it was roughly about 2008. I think I'm going. This is a fucking mid Batman movie. Because I really liked. I saw Christian Bale's Batman before Michael Keaton's Batman. But I saw the first old Batman on Channel Go, I think, and that's when Jack Nicholson. And I knew Jack Nicholson. I used to like Jack Nicholson as a kid from the movie Anger Management, which is fucking brilliant with Adam Sandler.
Mm.
I knew him from that. I said, "Oh, he's playing the Joker. Dad, can you put the VHS tape in and record it for me?" So he recorded it and whatever. And then I think it was a few nights after that, Batman Returns was popped on or something. But I'll always find the first Batman was probably the best.
Mm.
Like, yeah, Danny DeVito and Michelle and all that, It did a good job, but yeah, I did recently watch Batman Returns in 4K, and fuck me, that was brilliant on 4K. It was like it was filmed yesterday almost, but just in an old style way.
Yeah, I think Batman Returns. Like Lord knows that I'm a big Tim Burton fan. I just find his art style so. What's the word I'm looking for? Just so comprehensive in the way it's just so dark, and I think he was the perfect choice. And I think it's one of those movies that it was like Fast and Furious. They should have just stopped.
They should have stopped that after number 7. I don't know. They should have stopped after the third one, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think definitely once Paul Walker tragically passed away, I think they should have just stopped.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever read. I don't know if it's true or not. I've seen photos. I don't know if the clip is new or old. I don't know, but they're gonna get his brother to play him and do his face thing because they're good at the face thing nowadays. I don't know how that's gonna go nowadays, but they should.
I think that's what I'm nervous about with the second Black Panther. With Chadwick Boseman sadly passing away. It makes me nervous when, like, obviously they're going to keep going, like with the movies and stuff like that. But oh man, I can't even imagine trying to make that movie.
Surprisingly, I put the Black Panther on. I didn't like it. I turned it off. I think it was 20 minutes afterwards. I should go back. I'll buy it. I'll buy it on 4K and give it another go. Actually, no, Disney Plus is 4K. I'll do that. I think it's IMAX anyway. I'll give it a go. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of Black Panther though. To me, it's just like Catwoman, sort of.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible movie the way they managed, like the way they did it. But it's just, I can't imagine being in that position where I have to make another one after the main character.
I think I don't know. I think they're going to bring his sister or something into it, or his sister in the movie.
Take over his part, but she's had a little. It's an annoying thing with rumors. Like you don't know if they're actually true about her being, not wanting to get vaccinated and stuff like that. But I can't imagine trying to figure out how to do that and how to do it right. And I just feel like no matter how they do it, people aren't going to like it. And I just feel like they're in such an awful position with that movie.
Yeah, I guess when it comes out, it comes out. If it's up to it might be up to people's expectations. I don't know. But
I think people just have to understand and really just try and tell themselves when this movie comes out, they did the best they could.
But I've always found it, but it's very rare that it doesn't work out. Most when the fans go, nah, it's going to be shit, it turns out to be great.
But I think that the best example of that is Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. This is what I was trying to say before, where everyone hated, like the majority hated these movies, and then Zack Snyder leaves and they start doing something different, and they're like, oh my god, these movies were amazing.
Like, I can't even watch Batman and Superman properly for some reason. Like, I can kind of understand why people didn't like it. I kind of can, because it was a lot different than the Man of Steel. But it was just a lead on from the Man of Steel, and went more into depth about everything, which, I can get that. The one thing I was disappointed with was Man of Steel, not Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, was that fight scene was so short. And Batman's suit, I'm going, and how he says, you're not a man, to Superman, I'm going, well, get your fucking suit off, cunt, and bash him properly with your own hands if you're going to be a man about it. I'm going, fuck.
Yeah, like you were never a man.
Yeah, I'll take that suit off, mate, and your fucking opinion will change real quick.
I was like, okay, man, says the guy who's technically cheating by using kryptonite.
Using kryptonite, cheating, whatever, Like,
and the look on his face when the kryptonite first wears off.
Oh, that was a piss off.
Superman kind of like lifts up a little bit, and he's like, "Oh my!" Like he literally has his hands out, and he's like, "Whoa, relax." I'm sorry.
That was great. I think that's when he knew. Oh, fucked up. Because I think he knew the suit could only hold out so much.
Yeah, and I think that was like, it wasn't there's so many scenes in movies like this where it's not supposed to be funny, but you laugh. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of them was when, yeah, the kryptonite wears off and Batman just sort of puts his hands up and he's like, dude, I'm so sorry.
I think just before that scene was when he was hitting him in the face and he goes, "No, get fucked."
And it's like he's punching him and then
Yeah,
all you hear the ding.
and I'm going, how the fuck didn't you break your fingers? Like,
Mm.
I would have reckoned he would have cracked his fingers or something at least. But yeah. Anyway, back to the Man of Steel. Uh, how long we've been? For an hour and 14 minutes we've been going for. Talking squabble. What did you think about the colour grading of the Man of Steel? If you know what that means.
It's that's a tricky question because it's like it looks phenomenal, and I think it's very much into to Zack Snyder's filmmaking. I don't like a movie that's too bright, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There has to be. It's got to fit to be bright. If it's going to work like that.
I think there were certain times where it being bright made sense. I think that's when he suits up for the first time,
Yeah.
and he flies off and does his first flight sequence. That was beautiful. And then when towards the end of the movie, when the world engine is kicking up all this dust and there's a lot of debris and all that sort of stuff, and it gets a bit darker.
Yeah.
I guess it just makes sense because that's exactly what you would expect it to look like. It's not going to be, there's not going to be a rainbow in the sky.
The one, back to the emotion part, when he was flying for the first time, that fucking smile he had on his face.
He was just like a kid who learned how to ride a bike for the first time.
Like, to be honest, I think that would be every bloke's face if you could work out you could fly. But the one thing I did find weird about that, he knew he had all these powers, but how the hell did he knew he would fly for the first time? That's what I wanted to know. They didn't really talk anything about his powers. Like, he knew he had powers, but
I think that's another interesting thing because if you go when I rewatched it, it was never said. Like it could have been one of those things where it was sort of like it was said.
Yeah, it could have been said. They did show him his powers problems as a kid, but they flogged. To be honest, they flogged that off Smallville a little bit. But yeah, Smallville was as seasons went on, he kind of got a new power each time, but. The one thing with Smallville, I was very disappointed. It didn't kind of fly properly till the last episode in season 10. They did use Brandon Routh's Superman suit for that, I think. Yeah, but yeah, they never talked about the flying part with that Man of Steel scene.
I think if I'm remembering properly, there was a line from Jor-El where he's saying, you're stronger here because of the sun. And I did like that explanation that the Earth's sun is younger and brighter, and so you're soaking up its radiation. I did enjoy that because it's sort of, it's sort of a trope with some of these origin stories where they try and make an origin for something that didn't really need an origin.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a nice little detail. I thought that was done in a good way to explain why he can do more than your average Kryptonian. Even though, from my knowledge of the Superman comics, pretty sure they all can fly and they can all do the same thing. But I thought that was interesting. I would have liked it better if he didn't know he could fly.
Yeah.
Until Martha was threatened. You know what I mean? It's just this stir of anger.
The scene of the clip I made just popped up right now, and he's just looking up, jumping for the first time. And for some reason, it just popped in my head. As a kid, and I know most blokes probably did it, as a kid, they would have tried to fly. And that face he makes, just kind of leaping, was probably everyone's face they made when they tried flying for the first time. But we were just very disappointed about it, because we never flew. My mum years ago bought, it might have been a Batman pyjama set as a kid. I had a cape on it. It might have been Batman or Superman, I can't remember. But I jumped off the fucking trampoline trying to think I could fly, which was pretty funny. I got drunk one time, jumped off a table, thought I was Superman. I was fucking incredibly drunk. I think I skinned all my arms and shit like that.
I remember when the first Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire movies came out, I kept trying to climb walls. I
Yeah,
would
I've tried
I
that.
would
Yeah.
find I would try and find spiders to let them bite me,
Oh,
and
I
my
think
dad very quickly was like,
you don't
should
want to do that.
probably
Yeah.
not do that."
I think a couple of people died doing that actually, which was pretty funny. And that was
Mm,
also recently as well. There's still kids of today are still trying to fucking do it, and I'm
mhm.
like, how fucking dumb you go? Well, we were dumb kids too, but
Yeah, I was
yeah,
just a stupid kid, and I thought that's how it worked. I remember
yeah,
when the first Transformers movie came out, and my mum bought it for me on DVD, and I watched the behind the scenes, and I found out that the Transformers weren't real.
yeah,
And my mind was blown because, like, when you're a kid, you don't understand
yeah,
like CGI and how movies work and stuff like that, and you watch the movie and you just sort of take it as it is. But it just makes you sound so stupid. Like, I
yeah.
didn't know the Transformers weren't real, and so when I watched the behind the scenes, my mind was just blown. I was like, oh my god.
I think the first time I found out that CGI existed, I kind of looked at him going, how the fuck do you act with that?
Mm,
Like you acted like I've done it before with my films before. I've done some sort of CGIs, and it's fucking embarrassing acting in front of
mm.
nothing or something like that. It's really embarrassing, especially
I
if
think
you're
that's what I
talking.
love the most is when they have, like, I'm a big, like, obviously some things need to be CGI, but
Yeah.
I'm a bigger fan of practical props and
Oh
practical
yeah,
effects.
you can't go wrong
Um,
with that. They I they need us to me with Man of Steel. They couldn't really do it because they were in a studio, but they need to get. They spend too much money on CGI. To me, yes, you can get good CGI and you can get shit CGI. It all depends on who you hire.
mm.
It's like that mustache thing with the
Oh,
Justice
the
League.
infamous CGI'd mustache.
Someone made that refix that better than the movie for $500 or if that. Like
Yeah, no, people even just, I think Boss Logic on Instagram, I'm pretty sure he did it. Um, and just people in their spare time who just,
yeah,
fuck around with Photoshop have managed to do it better. And I don't understand. There was a lot of things in that movie that just seemed a little deliberate, or, yeah, I don't know, it just seemed a bit
um,
odd.
I don't know if you knew this or not. I think it's true. I only heard from one source, that person that worked there. I think years ago, Aldi in Morwell. Um, there was a guy there. He did the entire CGI for all the very first Hobbit movie. He did all the CGI for that. He ended up leaving Aldi and went and did the CGI for the Hobbit, and I never heard from him. I heard about him again. So I'm assuming he got a massive fuckload of money doing the Hobbit movie, and he never
Mm.
returned. So I don't know where he is nowadays, but yeah,
One of my, because I'm originally, like, all my family's originally from New Zealand. Um, my mum, growing up, when they were making the first Lord of the Rings movies, auditioned to be, because there was a big casting call that
yeah.
went out
Oh
for
yeah, yeah, yeah. They
back then.
needed ugly orcs or something, didn't they? Something like
Yeah, like people to play the orcs and people to play the hobbits, and my mum is very short. Um, and she always talks about this story because she says it's the one time that she wasn't short enough. She said
that.
she was told she was too tall. She went to the audition to play just a background
Yeah.
hobbit, but not even the main character or anything. And um, yeah, the people, she did the audition and she ended up hearing back from them, and she was told she was too tall.
Too tall.
Um, and one of my dad's friends that he went to school with works at Weta Workshop, I believe.
Yeah.
Or I could very easily be remembering that wrong. Anyway, Weta Workshop is massive over there. So when I went to, like, the Armageddon and the Comic Con and stuff like that are over there, all those comic book conventions, there's always a big sort of setup for Weta Workshop.
Yeah.
Um, and, like, it's crazy to think that they could do this sort of stuff and they can't even do a CGI for mustache. Like, it blows my mind that you can go and watch, say, Avengers Endgame, and Thanos looks real.
Yeah, he did.
It's,
Nowadays, to me, he kind of looks fake nowadays, but I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me being fussy or I don't know. But yeah,
but like in terms of like CGI, like he looks incredible.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Um, but yeah, and then there's DC that struggled to. Yeah, I guess it all just goes down to who you hire and whatever.
I've got two small spiders on my windowsill. They're just chilling out together.
Become Spider-Man, do it.
Oh no, they're only money spiders. No, I do. No, we're going off topic again. I think we're gonna have 1,000 podcasts on each movie, and they're all gonna be.
People just have to sift through it to.
Like I'll probably wait. Like I'll probably go through this clip and probably fix. I probably won't fix anything because so far it's been pretty good. I think I'll edit the start of it, and that might be it. But or the ending, whatever. Because we never said g'day, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Movie magic, love. Movie
Yeah,
magic.
pretty much, yeah. Because I was going through YouTube today, oh no, yesterday, when we first, I said, well, we'll do it tomorrow. There's not many people that sit down for, like, that actually talk about these movies. There's only been, they go for a whole, 5 minutes, and I watch them, they skim through right through the fucking line, I'm going, oh, this fucking waste of time. I did come across this dude's video, bad mouthing the fuck out of Man of Steel, and I can't remember what I said to him, but I abused the fuck out of him in the comments. Said, you got no fucking idea what you're fucking talking about because you're a dickhead. He was just hated every single minute of it. I don't know why. Like, how could you not?
I think like a lot of the times, like there was a movie channel that did like everything great about or everything wrong. Sorry, the first channel was everything wrong with Man of Steel, and then they sort of break down the movie and just point out all these like little things. It's mostly nitpicking, and so not all heroes wear capes. This guy started a YouTube channel called Everything Great, and it was everything great about such and such a movie. And it's just such like positive vibes about movies, and I think it's fine to have opinions, and it's fine to have things you didn't like about a movie. But if you're just gonna sit there for 30 minutes on a YouTube channel and just shit talk a movie for 30 minutes, why are you even talking about it if you didn't like it? You know what I mean? Like, I watch a movie and 10 minutes into it, I'm like, I'm not really liking this movie. I'm not going to jump on Twitter and be like, oh my god, I just watched Man of Steel and oh my god, the suit wasn't great. And I sort of like, I don't understand why, like if you hated it so much, why make it?
Did you ever notice with the Man of Steel, when he's going on Zod Superior's spaceship, on the bottom of his cape, there's a yellow line through it, like it's been cut off a curtain.
Oh, really?
Look back on it when you watch it, you'll see it's a entirely different cape throughout the entire movie. I know there's different versions of the capes, but it looks like a stage theatre's curtain has just been stuck onto him. But there's a yellow line on the bottom of the suit of the cape. I went, interesting. So I don't know if that was just a cheap thing. They're going, oh fuck, put that on because we need it, or I don't know. But
well, maybe the real cape, like the main cape wasn't ready yet, and they were just like, oh crap.
I don't know, because that whole scene, the stairs was CGI, and the rest was CGI. But yeah, there was more to that scene that behind the scenes. I can't remember, but I know they filmed it out in the desert somewhere. I don't know, I can't remember where it was. But the scenery was real. I know that. Oh no, that's what I remember. When he was in the sky, which they did do, they had him on what do you call it?
On wires.
A crane or something, yeah. They couldn't hear each other talk from the top to the bottom or something like that. They couldn't hear each other, so I think they had to put a microphone in each other's ears or something to hear what they were saying. Because I've never noticed, like, I know a lot of these movies, they do a lot of stuff like that. And they never occurs to me, like, they can't hear each other. But the moment when Shazam came out and they did that, I'm going, oh, that makes a lot of sense. When they can't
I thought
that was a great
joke. Funny because you watch a lot of these movies, and like they're, if you're like, I'm in my living room at the moment, and if you were, in the bedroom, or like if we were on each end of the hallway, and you're just talking in a normal voice and you're not shouting, I'd probably struggle to hear you. Yet alone if you're like 30 meters away from me, I'll struggle to hear you.
It's like my girlfriend. She can't hear me yelling across the house, fuck all, from my back room. I think yesterday when my brother was doing his computer, I said, oh, I need a plastic bag. What? She literally had to come down because I couldn't get up because I had a whole bunch of crap on me. But, yeah.
It's like my partner's family, they'll they'll yell at each other through the rooms,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting there like struggling to hear, and I'm like, why don't you just go to the room? Like, she'll do it to me as well. Like she'll yell at me from like another room.
Yeah.
Just plug the charger into my laptop was gonna die.
It's
But I'm like, that's what made me laugh about Shazam. You know, it's like, what? I can't hear you.
yeah, I actually enjoyed that movie. We when I watched it, this cinema was fucking up the framing to it. It was kind of, it wasn't full screen. It was like a box. Like there was.
Oh really?
Oh, they fucked it up, but I enjoyed it anyway. I couldn't care less, but it was free. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, I think we'll start to wrap it up, but I'll ask you one more question. What was your favorite part of Man of Steel? Like, what was the one thing in the movie that you were like?
The world machines. I think when he was in the middle of the Earth with the Christopher Reeve scene, to me that always gives me goosebumps. The moment that scream, the power he had, because he knew if he doesn't do that, everyone's fucked. I don't know. I've always liked that scene. The flying scene was originally my first scene as a kid. I did like about a movie, but now I've seen it 1,000 times. I'm watching it now, play over and over again. I'm sitting going, oh, fucking hell, I should have got a different clip. But yeah, next, I think the next broadcast I'll put longer scenes in it that won't spoil too much, because fucking hell, watching this over and over again. Yeah. All right, I'll.
Yeah, I think my favorite part was probably the same actually. The Christopher Reeves. I think there was such an emotional sort of undertone to that scene where he can't quite do it, so he sort of almost has to hype himself up, and I believe in that scene you can hear Jor-El's voice in the background, and he just punches up.
Another scene in that show was that when the buildings come down, and when he was inside the Earth, what's the black dude's name? When he was trying to get Olsen out of the Sheila out of the concrete thing.
Oh yeah, Harry.
That gets me every time. I see it go, oh fuck.
Yeah, no, that bit was
that was rough.
Fishburne as Perry, and he's just a boss who knows him and his couple of his employees are going to die, and he just comforts them. I think that is like such a beautiful scene where he knows he's going to die, and so they just hold hands. Or
I tear up every time I see that. I'm going, fuck that. I think every national disaster movie I tear up somewhere. 2012, I think San Andreas I did. I love those movies. They're great. But I guess we better wrap it up. It's been an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, we'll figure out. Like, obviously this is only the first podcast, so we can always. Next time it'd be better to have a script to somewhat follow, so we don't keep going off topic.
We can do the other topics after we've talked about everything, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll break it down into sections. I think that'd be a good idea, to do like an intro and then
chit chat in
between. Movie, and then have a little chit chat section at the end.
Sounds beautiful. Well, thanks for this. It's actually a good chat, actually. Time went by.
Yeah. I'm keen to keep it going and keep it going. Yeah, we'll private message about what we should talk about next. Whether it's, I feel like we sort of somewhat covered Batman v Superman in this.
Yeah, I think we could. I don't think we should do Batman v Superman. Oh, and Zack. I reckon we should do that later because we pretty much covered everything in this damn video almost.
Yeah, we pretty much covered most of it.
Zack Snyder, we could probably do on its own because that's a 4-hour movie, and I can't even remember how that goes properly anymore.
Yeah, I rewatched it the other day, but I sort of rewatched it in sections.
In sections,
over the span of a couple of days, but I think I'll probably rewatch it tomorrow because I'm just having a bit of a me weekend, and I think I'll probably rewatch it tomorrow.